This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. They have released the groups for the Sweden Major while I was busy lobbying for Hot and Cold's victory in the race for the NAL Stage 3 MVP. But that's neither here nor there. Let's check this out. I haven't looked at this post yet. Your guide to the 6th Sweden Major, my guide, which I will relay to you, dear viewer. 27-10-2021. Of course, that's the non-American style of doing it. I say non-American because, of course, America is like the only country that stylizes it the other way. Okay, let's check it out. Sweden Major, nice little runic background here with stage 3 in the books, blah, 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 blah. There's a major going on. Okay, a lot of this I already covered in that previous video, and so I'm going to maybe breeze through some of it that I've already covered. But group stages, right, November 8th through the 10th, and then there's going to be a day off. That'll be the 11th, which I guess is Veterans Day. I don't know if that's international, but in the US, I guess. The Skyrim release day, right? Playoffs November 12th to 13th, and then the grand finals on the 14th. And I don't know, maybe we'll talk about it in this post. A lot of times before or after the grand final, they do a big reveal for some like new op or new operation, new season, whatever for Siege. So we'll see what they do with that. I don't think they did last time though. They did like something on one of the days, but I don't know if they did it in that fashion. Anyways, qualified teams, we've already seen this. Nice little graphic here. Looks like, I don't know, some sort of movie ticket type deal. All right, so again, they've just divided it up, and you know, they so graciously have put APAC at the top for the first time in APAC's existence. So competitive format, yeah, we've already covered this. It's going to be 4 groups of 4. There are 4 first, second, third, and fourth seeds, and 4 teams from each region. So there's going to be in each group a first, second, third, and fourth seed, and a team from LATAM, a team from NA, a team from Europe, and a team from APAC. So how have they divided it? This was, and this, which one is it? This one is one of the possibilities I looked at that had a lot of rematches. So it's a Space Station Revenge Tour. They were playing against Empire and Furia. They played Furia in their group at the Mexico Major. Both of them made it out of the group, and they played Empire in the playoffs, and Empire knocked them out. Okay, what else do we have? FaZe, Oxygen, Chiefs, and Rogue. This actually might have been one of the ones that had all fresh matches that I showed, that nobody's played each other before, or at least not at all recently. And then what do we have? Sandbox, Team 1, Vitality, Dark Zero. This looks like perhaps the easier group. I mean, maybe, well, I don't know. Maybe that's me underestimating APAC. So, and then Vitality as well, possibly. But having not played internationally much, and I don't know, maybe Sandbox won't show up, but the reigning major champions Team 1 and Dark Zero, which is the team that Team 1 knocked out of the playoffs. So we'll see how Dark Zero fares against Team 1 here in double best of 1 round robin. And then in the other group, BDS and Sonics were in the same group last time, and they are in the same group here again. And then we have Invictus and Ninjas in Pajamas. So yeah, they have a good mix here of rematches from Mexico, which, I mean, to some extent, you can't avoid that. Like, there's just so many teams that were at Mexico that are also here, 10 teams, in fact. And so, yeah, it's hard to avoid. And then they also have a bunch of fresh matches, which would be mostly Group A, but I suppose some of the other intra-group matchups and whatnot. Okay, so yeah, same thing as before, right? Wins were 3 points. Same thing as the league formats, and double round robin, best of 1. So the top 2 will emerge from the group, and the bottom one will, and it still does matter if you get knocked out of the group, because if you get 3rd place in your group, rather than 4th, you'll get more SI points and you'll get more cash money. Okay, so here's the entire schedule. Ooh, okay, so see, here it is, season reveal panel, and they're doing that on the first day, in the, well, middle-ish, late-ish in the day, I guess. Oh, that's tough. I forgot. This is gonna be on European time. Ooh, that's gonna be that's gonna be rough to watch some of these, I think, because what, Central European time is like 6 hours or so ahead of Eastern Standard Time, and you know, the East Coast of the United States, it's something like that in like 9 hours. And it might be 8 or 10, because I mean, there's always that whole wrench thrown into the thing with daylight savings in some parts of the world and not in others. So I think it's 6 hours. I'm not 100% sure on that. Right, so schedule, just, I mean, a bunch of matches. I don't know that I'm especially looking forward to any of this too much, because again, best of ones, and we'll see it twice. I guess some of the rematches might be cool. And on the first day, which one do I want to watch the most? I guess, well, Space Station Empire, actually, I would imagine, is the one. And that should be easily watchable for most people, because it's not terribly late in Europe, and it'll be like early afternoon or whatever. Like it'll be between noon and 3 or so in the United States. So that'll be cool. And then all the other days, whatever. Yeah. And then of course we don't have information about the what's it called? The playoffs or anything, because of course teams have to, well, we do know the format of it, but we don't know what teams are going to be in it because we have to see the results of all these. And of course you can make predictions. Maybe I'll go back to the top in a second and predict who I think is making it out of groups, and let my biases show. So season reveal panel, of course that's the same thing because these are running in parallel. And on the second stream, if I want to watch any of these matches, this first one actually looks like kind of a fun matchup, but I think the big hitter might be Team One Dark Zero for that rematch value. We'll see what happens there. And then again, the other days they continue. Do they announce the talent in this? I don't think they do, right? Because it's not on the Liquipedia page. Playoffs and grand finals, again, same sort of thing. There's no lower bracket. It's all best of 3s except for the grand final being a best of 5. And that'll be played on November 14th. And some other stuff. I mean, operator bundle, prize pool. If you buy the operator bundle, the money will go towards increasing the prize pool up to a certain cap amount of 500,000 US dollars. Global point standings. This is very significant for some teams and completely insignificant for other teams. As I covered previously, Twitch drops if you're into that sort of thing. For, I guess, Kaid, IQ, Blitz, Alibi. And then a breakdown of all that and free esports pack in-game. Where to watch, a million different streams, very cool. Get a bunch of local casters doing their things in various languages and all this stuff, and stay in touch. Okay, so that's all of that, and yeah, hold on. I have this, but I guess I can just make the predictions off here, right? I mean, that's pretty much all we need to talk about, right? Because if you want to know more in-depth explanation of what's going on with all the teams at the moment, go look at my previous video that was posted, I believe, just yesterday, right? About the event, and that was before they'd announced the groups, so I speculated, and you could see, if you're curious, all the other possibilities, what the groups could have been. Okay, so, right, who's going to make it out of each group? Are these, A, B, C, D. Okay, the first, this video is pretty short anyway, so let's make it longer. Okay, Oxygen, Rogue, FaZe, Chiefs. And I feel badly about this, but I'm probably going to devalue APAC, undervalue APAC, I should say, in a lot of these because, and that's just the tradition of the game. Well, generally APAC were pretty weak back in the day, and now I think they're pretty strong. They might still be the weakest region. We'll have to see what happens after this event, but I don't really watch APAC, unfortunately. It's just, I don't know. It's just the last one I watch, and especially because it's on the weirdest hours for me. So, right, FaZe and Oxygen are the higher seeds in this group, FaZe being the first seed and Oxygen being the second seed, and I think it makes them likely to make it. I think it'd be a bit surprising to see both Rogue and Chiefs. I think that's almost impossible. Of course it's possible. I think it's very, very unlikely. Maybe one of them makes it, but I'm gonna have to pick FaZe and Oxygen, and this is the easiest pick. Probably of all the groups, this will be the easiest one, considering these two teams are very strong and are the first and second seeds and whatnot. Rogue has been a very good team for very specific amounts of time. Over the course of a long period of time, they've been very, very inconsistent. They've been either horrible or pretty good. So, okay, Dark Zero, Sandbox, Team 1, Vitality. This is Group B. Vitality is another one. Okay, so I don't watch, if I'm being truthful, I don't watch too much outside of NA. I'll watch a little bit of LATAM or Europe, some here and there, but I watch NA religiously, as you probably are aware. But the other two, I don't watch a whole lot. And then again, like Zero APAC, so... and it's nice to then watch the major and be able to be surprised by the other teams. That's cool in a way. Yeah, Vitality, they just missed out on the major last stage, and they've been a pretty middling team in Europe for quite some time now. Never at the very bottom, really, and certainly not at the top. Maybe like way back when, but they've been in the middle, and finally they're here to major. Team 1 Esports, I mean, you gotta be acting a bit of a fool to vote against them when they're currently the major champions. I mean, I think it's probably it's less likely for them to win the event than for them to not win the event, because I mean, you got to beat 15 other teams in placement. But I think it'd be foolish to not pick them to get out of their group, especially with this group, one of the weaker EU teams. And I mean, I guess Sandbox is like the first seed for APAC, right? But I I don't know if the seeding was technically appropriate for APAC. Like maybe the fourth seed's actually the strongest one because they have a whole complicated system with the APAC North and APAC South and the playoffs and all this stuff. It's strange, but I guess I'm gonna pick Team One. And man, I don't. Do I just pick the NA team again, or do I? I mean, like this isn't an official prediction. Like I'm not really gonna track this. Like the NAL ones, I was kind of sort of trying, right? Sandbox. I kind of want to pick them if I'm being honest, but Dark Zero, they surprised. I think I'm gonna pick Dark Zero for the fact that they did pretty well at the last major, and that now Canadian coming back onto the team, and finally the team looked pretty good in the last day. Although they had their struggle against Astralis. They didn't even beat Astralis on the last day when that was one of the more struggling teams throughout the stage. I guess I'll pick Dark Zero. So here I am again picking another NA and LATAM team. So see what happens there. But I think I did just vote against the two weaker European teams and then I guess two APAC teams. Sorry, APAC. BDS, Invictus, Ninjas in Pajamas, Sonics make up Group C. Right. So Sonics and NiP both didn't make it out of their groups last time. They weren't in the same group though. I think BDS is a shoo-in. That's another foolish prediction to vote against them to at least in the group. So we'll see who they play in playoffs if they make it to there. But you got to pick BDS here. Best team in Europe, probably. Debatably, but top 2 team in Europe certainly, if not top 1. And then so Ninjas in Pajamas, of course, reigning 6 invitational champions, but they did get grouped at Mexico, but I don't think they were last place in their group, right? I think they got 3rd place. I think they were in the G2 group, right? So they were above, they're above G2. So they got to, 9th through 12th place. Sonics, I want to pick Sonics because that's one of my favorite teams, but it's difficult to pick them. I think they'll put up a better showing than last time, and that's not to say that they won't get last in their group. They might get last in their group again, but I think they probably get more than 2 points on the board, which they got with the 1 overtime win last time. So I think they'll do better, but these are very strong teams. Like this is from the perspective of NA teams. This is probably one of these 2 groups is probably the hardest one to play in. And it might be Group D actually. I'm not sure which one you probably call Group D the team of death because if you're looking at a neutral perspective, not from the NA perspective, Space Station certainly is a better team than Sonics at the moment, right? So Space Station, Empire, Damwon, they're all really good teams. And these are all really good teams as well, but I think maybe just not as good. I'm going to pick BDS and, oh man, do I have to pick an APAC team? I will pick an APAC team, but not this one. I don't know a lot about them. Maybe the one I'm the most familiar with is Damwon, just having watched, I feel like I watched more of Damwon's game at Mexico than the other APAC team, which was Invictus, right? Or, well, there were 3 of them. Who was the other one? It wasn't Chiefs, they weren't there, and it wasn't Sandbox, right? This was the one. No. Yeah. These are the only 2 returning ones. Sandbox replaced whichever other APAC team it was. I can't recall actually at the moment. Okay, so yeah, BDS, and I'm gonna pick NiP. I want it to be Sonics, but and I want it to be all the NA teams making it out, but I especially want Sonics. Yeah, I'm gonna pick NiP and BDS. I think it's time for a bit of a revitalization from, well, they lost to Team 1 in the Copa Elite 6. I mean, which is not the most terrible loss considering they are the reigning major champions. I guess I'll pick NiP. Okay, I'll predict BDS and NiP. Yeah. Moving on to Group D: Damwon, Furia, Space Station, and Team Empire. So, right, all of these teams made it to playoffs last time. All 4 were at the major, and all 4 made it to playoffs. So, Furia and Space Station were the top 2 in Group B or whatever it was. And I think, were these 2 in the same group, Damwon and Empire? Were they both in Group D last time as well? I'm not sure. Who? I don't remember. They both made it out of group, certainly. But then Damwon and Furia and Space Station all lost in the quarterfinals, and Space Station lost to Empire. So who am I gonna pick here? This is okay. Now that I'm looking at it really closely, this is definitely the hardest one to pick, and probably the highest average power level. Damwon were, I think, probably the most impressive APAC team at Mexico, but they are coming in as the 4th seed this time, and I don't know what the line of the stream of events was that led to that being the case, but it is the case. So it's what, Space Station first, Empire second, Fury third, Daemon fourth in terms of seeds. And look, big Space Station shill, and I listen. Let it be known, I'm not a bandwagoner because I've been a Space Station fan since like Pro League season 7 or 8 or something. So it, we're okay, but I'm still gonna pick them. I think they look really good, and they looked really good coming in last time, and their performance based on that was maybe slightly disappointing. But I am going to keep my hope alive that Space Station will do well. And at that point, listen, I said I was gonna pick an APAC team, and before I was gonna do it, but now, like, can I vote against Empire with how well they did last time, with how well they've done recently as a whole? I'm gonna pick Space Station and Empire, but this is the one I could see it going anyway. Like, I could even see Daemon and Furia making it out. I think that's the least likely, but I could see it happening. I think, like Space Station in one of these two or Empire in one of these two, it could also happen. Anything could happen there. And I think each one is more close to being equally likely than in any of the other groups. So, right, those are my predictions. We'll see how much they come true. I could maybe predict each game, but I don't know. That's kind of a lot. I'll probably do it. I'll do a prediction for the playoffs bracket once we get there, because that's not actually an absolute ton of games. But looking forward to it. We're just like 12 days away from it or something. It's the 27th today, so 12 days away, and hopefully the playoffs aren't played at crazy times for North America. I imagine they'll be played like late-ish in the day, in the European day. I should be able to watch them, no problem, I would think. Okay, so I guess that's gonna do it. The only other thing that we have left to announce, and maybe I'll make a video when they announce it, is the talent, and I guess for all of the regions, but I'll probably just talk about the English broadcast because that is because I speak English, right? And I imagine it's gonna be pretty well the EU talent team, like Milosh and Jess and Ace and Dez and Hap and Fluke, and maybe they'll fly out some people, but I imagine it's going to be very easy. Those guys are already pretty close, and like last time when they had it in Mexico, Ace and Dez didn't even fly out. They just remote commentated. So maybe they'll do some of that as well. We'll see what happens there. Probably Blue and Stokes will be involved in some regard, probably remotely. Maybe they'll fly out. I don't know. We'll see. I'll cover that when it comes to it. And I think that is everything you need to know if I'm taking into account everything I talked about in this video and the previous video. So that's going to do it. I will catch you in the next one.